guys, welcome back to another episode of the Stay Strong, Stay You podcast. Guys, today is a big moment for the Stay Strong, Stay You podcast. Tell us why, Monica.
What up, what up, what up? It's your girl, Monica Macias. So I'm definitely excited to share that one of the biggest things that we're doing in season 3 is bringing on guest speakers. So we're definitely starting off our season with our first speaker. And I'm definitely excited because she's one of our friends, our dearest friends, and we can chat for hours. Oh my gosh, I can't even explain the things that this person has, how she's inspired me in my life. So I know she's inspired yours too, Becca. But God definitely sent her to us, and she definitely got me started in opening up about my testimony. So she's definitely plays a big part in my life. And so I'm so excited to have her here. So Becca, I'm gonna let you introduce her.
Absolutely. She is not just a friend, but she is definitely somebody that we are inspired by, and definitely would say somebody that I am definitely a fan of. So this individual is an online transformational coach and speaker. 6 years ago, she was assaulted and had to go undergo multiple surgeries, 2 facial reconstructive surgeries, and 2 spine surgeries. Fitness and the principle of fitness saved her life. That this built her confidence and mental toughness to overcome all obstacles in her life. She has unleashed the warrior within, and today she is letting the world respect her greatness with the mantra, get up and get it done. Without further ado, we welcome Christine Capella to the Stay Strong, Stay You podcast. So what's going on, Christine?
Oh my gosh, I am so excited to be here. Thank you guys so much. Believe me, the feeling is so mutual. We're friends, we're family. You guys inspire me. I just adore you. And thank you so much for having me here.
We couldn't have any other guest be our first. We knew from the start that the 3 of us were just something special. So we are incredibly
I appreciate it.
Absolutely. Well, with being our first guest, we have come up with 3 questions that we want to routinely ask all of our listeners. So are you ready to be the first to answer these questions?
I am. I'm excited about it.
All right. Question number 1. What is it about you that makes you stand out?
Oh, that's tough. That's so tough. That's tough because I feel like I have a hard time talking about myself in that regard. But honestly, I think like if I really had to look at it, my strength and my resilience really makes me stand out. And the fact that I don't let anything hold me down. I really do believe that I can overcome anything. I don't know why I think that, but I really do. And that's why my motto, like get up, get it done, really is true to me, because that's my belief system. That's how I get through everything. And so that is my strength. That is my resilience. And I've bounced back from everything that has tried to tear me down.
You know, Christine, there's definitely a lot in your story that shows your strength, the things that you had to overcome and the things that you had to endure. So me looking at you from the outside, I see your strength every single day because you get up every morning, you make sure that you get things done. But in knowing your story, like what parts of your story were probably the hardest that you had to actually use that strength to get over?
So there's a lot. I mean, like I share a lot about my story, but there's a lot of darkness that a lot of people don't know. And I'll never forget looking at my face after I was assaulted. I was unrecognizable. And it's not, I'm going to start to cry. It's not like a broken arm. It's your face. That's you, right? And so you look in the mirror and I was not even recognizable. And when I look back at pictures of myself, the light in my eyes was actually gone. Like I have pictures of me from that moment. Like my concussion was so severe. I had such severe vertigo. And I was just in so much pain. The light in my eyes was actually gone, which is a really scary thing to see in your own, face and in your own eyes. And so to see yourself that way and to figure out how are you going to come back. I mean, I was told I was never going to work out again. And like you said in my intro, fitness really is what saved my life. Fitness is everything to me. And so when a doctor looks at you and is like, you're never going to work out again, I'm like, that's not true. That's not true. I am going to work out again. And I'm one of those people that like, you tell me that I can't do something and that that just fuels my fire. So like that propelled me forward. And also just knowing that this stranger assaulted me. And I mean, I always try to look at the blessings, right? Thank God I'm not paralyzed. Thank God I didn't die. Thank God. I mean, I had sunglasses on that day and my sunglasses completely shattered on my face. So I always say, thank God I still have my eyes. Like, thank God I can move my body. But the reality of it is that moment changed my life forever. Like I have been dealing with this pain forever. And the thing that fuels me, like that strength in me is like, I refuse to allow him to win. Because if I sit back, if I do nothing, if I don't get up and get things done, then who wins? He wins, right? Like the purpose of what he did, he wins. And I refuse to allow that to happen. I will always overcome. I will always be the victor. I will not be the victim. So because of that, I will always get up and get it done no matter what. Like every spine surgery, I had one spine surgery and they were like, you're not really going to be able to work out after that. I was like, yeah, right. Watch me. 5 weeks post-op, I was back at SoulCycle, which is indoor spinning, which I'm obsessed with. The second one was a double spine surgery. Again, you're not going to be able to work out. Yeah, right. Watch me. 9 weeks post-op, I was back on that bike again. So it's like, keep on telling me that I can't, and I'm gonna prove you wrong. That's my fuel. And I just get up and I get it done. And what I always like to tell people when I say that, it's not, like here I am saying, okay, yeah, I had the spine surgery and then I was at SoulCycle. There was a lot that had to happen in that time frame for me to build back up to it. And so little steps, like you don't realize that the little step is just getting up and getting it done. That 5-minute walk post-op was me getting up and getting it done. The next day going 6 minutes for a walk was me getting up and getting it done. So it's a little steps too. Like I don't ever want anybody to confuse like your strength, that you have to make these massive leaps and bounds. Sometimes it is just getting up out of bed, and that is strength, and that is courage, and that is bravery. And so I always like to preface my story with that, because a lot of times there were a lot of days that I struggled getting up out of bed. Like I was, like I said, seeing my face like completely destroyed. That's hard to look at yourself in the mirror. Like getting up out of bed was a win for me on some days. So I always want to keep that in perspective.
That's awesome. That's awesome. And I will say, whoever your plastic surgeon was, because I've had the opportunity to meet you in person. And unless you actually point out where your scars are, I don't see them.
I love you. I will shout out my plastic surgeon. Her name is Dr. Dara Leota in New York City. She is phenomenal. So if you ever need anything, go to her. And my spine surgeon, amazing. Dr. Griffin Baum in New York City. I always give my surgeons all the credit because really they were incredible. And I appreciate you saying that because sometimes I'm still a little bit self-conscious of some of the scars on my face. So thank you.
Yeah, because you definitely know where they are. I mean, you know exactly where to point at. But, you know, even with me seeing you, I would have never even been able to see scars or even think you had scars or any of that had I not known about it, you know? But you're still beautiful. You're so beautiful. So, you know, and those scars, yeah, they're still there as a reminder, but you know, that pain is never going to be there the way it was.
Yeah,
So,
exactly. I
mhm.
appreciate that. Thank you.
Absolutely. Like I couldn't second that even more. Beautiful inside and out, Christine. One part of your story that I'm still curious about. I know your whole trauma story, and for the followers or listeners on the podcast, they can go to your Instagram and see your whole entire story. One part that I'm still curious about is, who was Christine prior to the assault? And did you already have this confidence through fitness and this routine that you have today, or did you have to build that throughout your journey of the assault? Because you get up at 5 a.m. one alarm, and you get up and you get it done. And that's what I channel in my routine, is get up and get it done. Christine's doing it across the country ahead of the game. But who was Christine before the assault?
So I have always had some inner strength. I will say that. Did I always have confidence? No. And I do think that the two of them are different, but I've been in the fitness space, right? Like for myself, I'm not a fitness professional. Let me also put that out there. But I started working out when I was 21 and I'm now 43. So I've been working out for a while, and I have always found that fitness is a tool that we can use to overcome the obstacles in our life. It really is life training. So in my mind, like if you think about a workout, a 30 to 60 minute workout, there are a lot of obstacles that you have to overcome in that workout. So for some people, the obstacle might just be getting to the gym, right? Like whatever that obstacle is. But as you do that and build that consistency, then your confidence grows. And then it becomes a ripple effect, because there are going to be times in your life when things are going to come at you that are unexpected, right? In the gym, it's almost like a controlled space where you're overcoming these obstacles. Life is not controllable, but fitness prepares you for life. So now I'm like, okay, I've overcome all of this in the gym. I have that discipline. I have that consistency. I know that I am strong enough to overcome obstacles in my workout.
Mm-hmm.
I can do the same in my life. So when the assault happened, my mentality was already there, where I was like, okay, I can overcome this too. I've already overcome so many obstacles. Was I always confident? No. The confidence came post assault. For me, my confidence was unfortunately directly related to men and relationships. And that's what I associated it with. And because I was in a lot of unhealthy relationships by choice, and because I did not have the confidence in myself, and let me put that out there, because again, I am not the victim, I am the victor. Like, know this, I am not the victim. I will not play the blame game. And when it comes to relationships, I made those choices, and it was because I did not have enough confidence. And I started to realize those patterns after the assault. And so then that's when I really started to dive deep into building my confidence, my self-love for myself, for relationships. But I had already had my confidence and my strength in the things that I could do for myself, if that makes sense. Like they were two separate entities. Like one area I was super confident in, and another area I wasn't. So I had to build the other up.
Yeah, I definitely understand that. I was the same way. Professionally, yeah, I could go in and rock an office meeting, and even if there was high execs or any of that. But when it came for me telling you who I was, I had no confidence in telling people who I was or what I did. But when it came professionally, like I knew my stuff,
Yeah.
so I can definitely understand being in those two different situations and having completely different confidence levels. Not anymore, though.
Not anymore. I love it.
The other thing that you said that I absolutely think is incredible and I can relate to as well is owning the fact and recognizing that, we played a part in the bad relationship. So often people don't want to, own up and say that they were also part of the mistake. Like I also had to do that within my own domestic violence relationship of being like, I'm also the one who stayed in it for so long. I'm the one who put on this mask, not letting anybody else in. And you have to go back and you have to forgive yourself and allow yourself to grieve from that. And it's hard and it sucks. And it's something that not a lot of people want to freaking do, but you have to freaking do it because you're the person of your journey and you have to forgive you. Once you can forgive yourself, it becomes easier to forgive others.
Oh my gosh. Like that's been one of my biggest journeys is forgiving myself for allowing people to treat me the way that they treated me. So I had to forgive myself for that. But then I also had to say, okay, so now what are my boundaries? What are my non-negotiables? What will I no longer tolerate? And I've now forgiven myself for it, which is a hard journey. Like you said, that is some hard, deep work that you have to do on your own. And it's a lonely, lonely journey, but it's worth it. So if anybody out there is going through that journey, I know that Monica and Becca will say this, so I'm just going to say it for all three of us. If you're going through that journey where you have to forgive yourself, you can always reach out to any of us on that one because it is a lonely journey and it is hard, but it's beautiful. When you get to the other side, oh man, is it beautiful. It's like you came to like the mountaintop. And for me, you guys know the sunrises, sunsets. It's like you came to this beautiful mountaintop and you see this incredible sunrise or sunset, and life is just good. You feel free. You feel free when you can let go of all of those things that were holding you back.
Yes. Yeah, for me, it was that sense of peace.
Yeah.
Because we knew what was right and what was wrong, and we still continued to stay. But when I was able to, because y'all know that in my journey, that's where I started. I started with forgiving myself.
Yeah.
And then forgiving everyone else without expecting an apology. Like I'm apologizing from my heart and my soul and letting it go. And it's what made me free. And when you reach that level of peace, it's just a completely different feeling.
Oh my gosh. Agreed. It's a beautiful spot to be in.
Absolutely.
100%. And I remember for me too, of like being on that road of like being completely lonely and also recognizing like, I was trying to figure out how to put up boundaries and what my boundaries were. But what I had to realize was half the time I didn't know what my boundary was until the boundary was broken. And somebody broke through that wall and then it was like, no, I'm not allowing that to happen again. Like that's a boundary. Like the light bulb went off and it was like, I am not doing that. And then the other thing, like as we're saying, like as you cross that bridge and you put in the work and you start seeing the light within, all of a sudden it's like your test became your testimony, which is a survival guide to somebody else's life. And that then becomes like a whole other level of like, okay, we found this calling within inside of us. So it is incredible. So I guess that kind of leads into the second question that we have of, our mission. Our mission is to encourage and inspire others to recognize that their strength is being vulnerable and giving their pain a voice. So how have you turned your pain into your power, and what are you doing today to inspire and encourage others to, create the greater version of themselves?
So honestly, it's so funny because now I speak so openly about like the assault, right? Like to me, that's like, oh, no big deal. But when I first started out in my social media journey, so to speak, right? Like I don't even know what to call it, my social media journey. I was so afraid to talk about it. And for me, I don't know, I wouldn't say that I was ashamed of it, because I knew that assault in particular, like was not even, that was not my fault. That was like a complete stranger, totally random on the side of a street. Like there was nothing that I could have done, right? But I felt like it was boring, or I felt like all my friends had already heard about it. Like when I started my social media journey, that was already like, I was already 3 years into the assault, right? My assault journey. And so I was like, oh my gosh, I'm over it. Like, I don't want to talk about it. The moment that I started talking about it and sharing it, not only did it heal me, but I was reaching so many people, and so many people were coming to me and saying, oh my goodness, X, Y, and Z happened to me. And people were sharing their intimate details and intimate stories with me. And you realize when you start sharing your story, like we all think when you're in the midst of your struggle, when you're in the midst of your storm, you think that your storm is the worst. Nobody else has ever felt this pain, and nobody ever will feel this pain, and you are all alone and nobody gets it. And it's a dark spot to be in. So when you start sharing that story, and people start hearing it and they realize that they're not alone and that you're not alone, that's a really powerful spot to be in. And in retrospect, I wish I had shared a long time ago. I wish I had started sharing right from the jump, because there's so much power in sharing your story. You are not alone. Pain is a universal feeling. We all have struggled differently. Like think about all three of us here, right? We all have had a very different journey. But the common denominator is pain, struggle, and overcoming. There's the common denominator. So when you can share your story, you realize that there really is purpose in your pain and you're helping others. And isn't that what we're all put here on earth to do? We're here, in my opinion, we're here to help others, to love, and to spread kindness. So share your story.
Mic drop.
Oh, like, how do you follow up from that?
I know, for real. It also brings, like, I was just, as you were talking, it brings me down walking memory lane of, the three of us started on Clubhouse, like, and we all had that fear of talking on Clubhouse where nobody could see our face. We were talking about, let's just talk about the adult diapers. Like, because we were so terrified to share our journey, share all of it. And, as time went on and we all continued to do it, we gained this more confidence, and now we want to do bigger and better things. But it is interesting to consistently hear that pain is often the common denominator, and people will remain in their comfort zone of their comfort of their own pain because they're scared to step out. So I hope just that Christine's story can inspire you to step out of your comfort zone and take that step into building a greater version of yourself.
Yeah, totally. I mean, for me, you guys know, and Becca talks about it all the time, but because you guys had already started sharing about your stories by the time that I had met you guys. And then, of course, I shared my story with Christine on one of her webinars about being a warrior. It was like I felt the most comfortable spot was given to me to be able to share it. And it was like I felt a connection with the both of you when we started to share on Clubhouse. And I think the one thing that for me and my story was I was always afraid to talk about things that could potentially hurt someone else. And so the day that I shared on Clubhouse, I invited my daughter to be on there with me. And because a portion of what happened to me in my past, of course, I was afraid would hurt her. And to be able to share it knowing that my daughter was there, and it was like I was actually telling her even though I was sharing it to the whole room, and still having that comfort that I had my friends who were my support that had already kind of heard what I had been through. It was the biggest relief after that, because it's like after that the confidence level completely changed, and we started bringing on more people. We were able to talk more, like there was hardly any silence, and we got so comfortable, which is how we ended up building this friendship. Just being able to talk about things and the laughing and all of that. So yeah, I mean, I think it's one of those things that being able to share your story and how important it is to share it, because even if it impacts just one person, that one person needed to hear your story.
100%. And what I've also learned in this journey is that when you share your story, you're sharing from your perspective, right? Like, so you're thinking that your message, when I first started, I was like, oh, my message is only going to reach people that have been assaulted or maybe have physical pain, right? Like that's what I thought in my brain. But when you share your story, what ends up happening is the people that are listening and receiving the message, they are taking it in from their perspective. So now you are helping people that you didn't even expect to help. Like this is going to sound really crazy, but my inbox lately has been flooded with messages about marital problems. Now, let me put this out there.
Sorry.
I am single, never been married. I know nothing about marriage. There are a lot of days when I'm like, wait, how did my message reach you that way? Like, how did my message about my assault get translated into you messaging me about your marital problems and that you think that I can help you with that? But there's something so beautiful about that too, right? Like I definitely don't want to like make a joke out of it, because it is so incredible that one, somebody trusts me enough to come to me with these details. And two, my message that I thought was about my spine surgery, for example, or overcoming, an obstacle, reached somebody that I never would have thought would have reached them. And it's just from the power of sharing your story. So like the more you share, the more impact you're going to have. And it's going to reach people that you never in a million years would have expected. And it's such a beautiful thing. It's such a beautiful thing because like I said, the purpose of life is to help others and to realize that we're all here on this planet together to get through these things together. So if my story can help somebody go through whatever struggle they're going through, then I've done my job.
That is absolutely. And I think as you were sharing all of that, I think one of the things that also makes you stand out is definitely that trust. You definitely can see that trust come through the screen when you're sharing, when you're speaking, and all of that. And I also think that you have a gift of being that active listener, which I think so often is pushed to the side by so many people. You know, I think we're doing great as society, bringing awareness to mental health, but it's the listening that people are not doing. People are not taking time to listen and, you know, really put themselves in other people's shoes. And I feel like you really have a gift of being able to do that and share different perspectives within that. And I know you've done that for me. I mean, I can't tell you how many times, you know, I've hit you up and I've been all, you know, crying or whatnot. And then by the end of the tough love that you give me, like my voice and my inspiration is all back. So you definitely just have such a gift of listening and also just bringing humor into it, which is huge. Like, life is too short not to laugh. That's something I live by, and that's something like why I love the three of us, is because, like, yes, we have, you know, times where we need to be serious, but we're also not afraid to bring in that humor. But those are also things that just like stand out, and I know that's why people are going to you and reaching out to you, because there is that level of trust.
Wow. I mean, I don't even know what to say after that, but thank you so much. Like, I appreciate that, because sometimes, like, honestly, you know how it is. Like, we don't see ourselves a certain way. So I really, really appreciate that. I do know that I do bring the humor, and I do know that I bring the tough love, because like you said, life is too short. We have to laugh. You have to laugh. Laughter is medicine for the soul. And here's like a little fact, if you don't know this, your brain does not recognize a real smile from a fake smile. So if you are in a low vibe spot, right? Like, you're not feeling it. If you just smile, your brain thinks that you're actually happy, because it doesn't recognize the difference. And so again, laughter is so important, and smiling is so important. And I'm very sarcastic. I'm super sarcastic, almost to like a fault. But listen, we got to laugh. You got to make the most out of a situation, right? And so laughter is everything, and some tough love.
Christine, you have some of the most awkward situations.
Which I guess is why, like, oh my gosh, I can't even mention it. No, I have the weirdest things happen to me. And so I do just have to laugh about it.
Yeah,
it's unreal. Like, you could almost have your own reality TV show on the things that happen within your life. And I don't watch TV often, but let me say I may binge watch everything that happens in Christine's life.
Honestly, like, there are moments when I'm like, okay, God, are you telling me that I'm supposed to have like a reality, like, dating show? Am I supposed to be talking about like dating, like bloopers? I don't know, because like, it is just such like awkward craziness where I'm like, I could just make people laugh over like the crazy things that happen in my life, especially when it comes to men, and dating. But I'm like, no, that cannot be my mission. That's not my mission. My mission is to turn my pain into my purpose. And so that's what I'm going with, even though I feel like sometimes God is just testing me and trying to make me go in a different direction.
Too funny. Yeah, I can't. I mean, we share so many audio messages amongst the three of us, and I mean, we all jump on in response, and we all start laughing because, I mean, Christine and her messages, and we just crack up. Like, I am just laughing. I have to replay because I know I missed something while I was laughing. But we're not afraid to talk about anything. Like, if it's in our head, we say it, and we just have so much fun with that. So yeah, I mean, laughter is definitely important. I've definitely seen a change in myself, even with my children, and how important it is just to laugh. Like, it's not that serious. You know, not saying that we don't take anything serious. I mean, we know you know how to decipher between the two, but we have more fun than anything else. And
Yeah.
it's important. It really is important.
It definitely is, especially You guys know I have very high anxiety.
No.
Very, very high anxiety. And I go from 0 to 100 in the matter of an instant. And it's so funny to just like kind of track that, which I actually would love to put like a tracking of my like the anxiety that I have going from 0 to 100, because 9 times out of 10, this scenario that I came up with in my head is not what happened at all. Like at all. And I get through the situation, I'm like laughing at myself to thinking how bad I was making up this scenario in my head. Like, I will not forget the time. It was summertime and I just moved into the house that I'm living in, and they were talking about the snow in the winter and like how bad it could get and blah blah blah. Yo, I had an anxiety attack so bad that I was convinced that it was going to snow the next day. So I literally woke up the next day and I was like, why the heck was I freaking out, having an anxiety attack that it's going to snow outside when it's 97 degrees? Like, like you just have to laugh at it. Like, come on now. Life is too short not to laugh.
100%. I'm all about laughter. I'm glad that we all laugh. I feel like, to be honest with you, that's one thing, like on my social media, I don't know, maybe you guys can tell me this. I feel like people think that I'm like way more serious than what I am, unless when I'm like with my parents, when you see me with my parents, and that's when you see like the sarcasm come out. But I'm way funnier than what I think my social media shows.
You are.
But I think it comes across both. Like, you can definitely see that you're definitely chill. You're not like, you're definitely serious about what you do, but you definitely are way heck funnier than anybody can even imagine.
So just DM me. And if you DM me, then you'll get the funny side.
Just DM her funny.
Yeah.
She'll tell you about one random fact that happened in her life.
Yes, exactly. I'll tell you about something that happened that day on my like way to work.
Exactly.
Or at work.
Or at work or after work. Drive home, you know, all the things.
Yes.
Exactly. Well, that kind of doesn't really lead into our third and final question, but we'll go there. What is the legacy and impact you want to leave behind in this world?
I think I mean, like I said, I touched on it a little bit. Like, I honestly, truly believe that our purpose here on life is to help others, to love, and to spread kindness. And that is my heart. That's my heart. And I just hope that I can put out more good than bad, that I can spread kindness, that I can help people whenever they are down, that I can inspire them, and that if they are going through a struggle, that I can help them overcome it, that maybe my story will inspire them to get up and get it done.
So have you ever come across a situation where you were speechless, like you didn't have the advice to give someone? I mean, the reality, there's some situations like you talked earlier about people asking you about marriage and relationships, and you have to kind of like, take a different route of how to help them out from something you've never experienced before.
Yeah. I mean, lately, like some of my DMs have been very interesting. Like I said, I am learning to take it as, wow, like it's a huge compliment that you are coming at me with this, like you trust me enough. But at the same time, I'm like, hold up. Okay. I really need to sit back and really figure this out, because I don't want to give bad advice. They're coming to me. I don't have any experience in being in a marriage, right? Like, I don't know anything about that. So sometimes I will say, okay, just give me a few moments. I'm going to get back to you. And I really have to like sit and think about it and process it, because I want to make sure that I am giving good sound advice to somebody, because like you said, like they're coming to me with problems that I've never experienced. But like I said before, a universal truth is that we have all experienced pain. Pain is a universal feeling. I may not have been in a marriage, but I've been in unhealthy relationships. I've been on the floor of my apartment, sobbing hysterically, not thinking that I could get up. So I dig into those moments, and that's where my advice comes.
And that's also one thing that makes you stand out, is that you can be the outsider that steps into their shoes and you're able to see their perspective. And that's a gift right there.
I think in life, we have to try to see other people's perspectives and have empathy and not be judgmental, right? Like, I think that is something that is really, really important and so critical, especially when you're trying to help people, and being able to see their perspective and being able to try to see all sides of the story, right? Because when they're coming to you, right, we all know this, right? There's two sides of the story and then there's the truth, right? And somebody's coming to you and you're only getting their side and you don't know any of the other pieces. And so you have to really just kind of sit back and say, okay, let me think about this. What may have happened with that other person? What may have happened here? Let me figure out. And like, I'm going to try to give you all sides. Like, I'm going to try to get into the other person's head and figure it out for you and give you that perspective as well. Because I think that when you're trying to help somebody and trying to move forward and to forgive yourself or to overcome an obstacle, you need to look at all sides of it.
Absolutely. I could not agree more. Changing your perspective for somebody else's perspective is huge. Well, I know we're coming up probably on about an hour. We can't see a time how long we've been going, which is a downside, but what would you say to anybody who is maybe in the rut or in that pit, that is feeling broken and lost, that is looking for the light within them or looking to create a greater version of themselves?
I would tell you to get up and get it done. Literally. That in my darkest moments, like, that's what saves me. Every single day, I told myself, okay, you're going to get up, you're going to get it done. Whatever that little thing is. Like I said at the beginning of this, it might just be getting up out of bed. That's getting up and getting it done. Then the next day, you get up and you make your bed. That's getting up and getting it done. Then the next day, you get up, you make your bed, maybe you wash your face with some like special cleaner, right? Maybe you put on some clean clothes. That's getting up and getting it done. Like, we underestimate the power of little steps. A little at a time becomes a lot, right? It's that consistency over time that is going to get you to the place that you want to get to. But you have to get up and get it done every single day. You have no choice. No one else is coming to save you. No one's going to do it for you. And honestly, you don't need anybody else. You're enough. You can do it. And you can get up and get it done on your own. I promise you.
Yeah.
Woo!
No, I mean, I don't even want it to end, but I definitely want to just give some of my final thoughts on the interview. Of course, Christine, you are an amazing individual. You've overcome so much. You have so much strength. And even in the moments where your confidence level might be high, we've talked about before that, we still kind of overcome our own self-doubt and our own self-sabotage. And then, we kind of get a reality check and, put ourselves back. We have to correct ourselves a lot because we want to stay on track. But I mean, with everything that you've shared today, there was some pieces that, we were glad to be able to pull out of you that we didn't know who was Christine before all of this, before we knew Christine. But I just want to say thank you so much for being our very first guest on our podcast. This was definitely an experience. Definitely something me and Becca had been talking about. We could not think of anybody else who had a special place in our hearts that we would want to share this moment with, because you are definitely our sister. We love you. You are family. And we have visions that we share together. So I'm definitely excited to call you a friend. I am so proud of you. You continue to see your vision and you're seeing it through. And I think we talked about the other day about how many years it's been. But the fact that we're still moving forward is just amazing. So I'm so proud of you. I love you. Thank you so much for being here with us.
I love you so much. Thank you. Thank you for that. Like, the feeling is so mutual. I just adore you. And I really am beyond humbled and honored to even have been thought of to be your first guest. Like, I can't even believe it. Like, this is huge. And I appreciate it so much.
That's how I feel to be called your friend and to be a part of your life. Like, it is such an honor. And not only are you like a friend of mine, but I definitely feel like I'm totally 100% a fan of yours. And I like definitely fangirl over your content. But that's when you're surrounded around the right people, when you really want to cheer them on. And like, I just want to continue to see you win. And I know the feeling is mutual, but where can people find you at? Let them know where they can follow you or reach out to you.
You can find me over at Instagram. My name is Christine Capella, and please slide up into my DMs. I love interacting and connecting with you guys. I love hearing about the struggles that maybe you're going through, that you've already, overcome, whatever it is. I love connecting. That is my favorite spot to be on Instagram, is in the DMs, connecting with all of you.
Well, guys, you heard it all from Christine Capella, and we hope that you guys were able to take so many different nuggets and gems from her and her experience and her life story. So continue to be the resilient warriors that you are within this game of life, and get up and get it done. But no matter what, continue to be the warrior that you are. Stay strong, stay you, because you got this.
Peace.